Okay, here's the video on FallUI. My HUD, let me kind of get my thoughts together real quick. There are different mods that affect how a HUD looks. It's a Swift file, um, which, if you look at it, has looks like a W a W I mean, an SWF file. Reminds me of a file that has embedded data structures. It's a self-contained file. It's got the images and it has code that will display that images, and you can reference variables in that definition of that Swift file, so that you can display or not display certain things. So, if you look at my HUD here, if you look at this HUD, you notice that there is nothing. I'm gonna kind of go into the console here. You notice there is no map. There's no anything here. There's nothing here. So there's no indicators of any kind or anything that might show ammo, grenades, because I don't really need to see that. And I'm going to apologize for Ivy here, because I'm sure she's going to say something pretty wild.
I
So
have no idea what you're talking
I'm
about.
gonna try to keep moving and maybe not let that happen. I could disable her and re-enable her, but all right. So you can see there's really nothing here, and I just loaded up the game, so some scripts are probably, a lot of scripts fired off. It's probably finishing up, so the papyrus is going to be a little bit bogged down, so it's going to be a little bit kind of chunky. Um, but I actually have two mods installed that change the way the HUD looks. Okay, so the first mod I want to talk about is Immersive HUD. So let's go down here and we're taking a look at Immersive HUD. Okay, it's enabled. You can do certain things with it. For example, the compass. I only have the compass come on when I'm in combat, when I'm drawing my weapon, or when I'm sneaking. We'll get back to that in a second. Health only shows up in combat. That's for the player. And you can change these different variables. So, like, my health might only show up if it's below, let's say, 40 something percent, 20 something percent. Um, and that way, if you like a clean HUD with not a lot of data on it, you can actually say, okay, I don't want to see anything unless I really get in trouble, and then I want you to throw up my health bar, and that's going to be an indicator that I'm getting low on health. Same with action points and things like that. What I did is I turned on active effects. Now, right now, for some reason, a script somewhere bugged where my active effects don't update like they should. I don't know if that is a HUD framework issue or a script that calls HUD framework or something else. I'm not positive. I don't know what triggers that. That's kind of on the list of things to kind of tinker around with. But let me show you Immersive HUD. So back on the compass, if I'm in combat, I draw my weapon, or I'm sneaking, I will get my compass on my HUD. So let's exit out of this and let's go into sneak mode. And if you notice, right up here, I have my compass. See? So it basically helps me configure when I want to show certain parts of my HUD. Now, this particular FallUI preset, which is a stalker HUD, only shows things. It doesn't really show up here. It will not show any enemies. There's no red triangles or anything like that. So, like, because you won't be able. It kind of makes it a little bit more challenging if you know there's gunfire over here. You have no way to look at this to tell you where the enemy is. Now you can still use your recon scope. Let me get some kind of weapon here. You can still use your recon
Sweet.
scope, and this is one of the institute weapons that you have to unlock. But you can still use your recon scope to highlight targets. You can still do that. Also, I'm not sneaking anymore, and see how the HUD up here disappeared. Now, it is down to script, so any kind of lag in script processing is going to show a lag up there. If I draw my weapon, notice I said when my weapon's drawn, I want to see my compass. There's my compass. When I have an active effect, if I'm bleeding or I'm hungry or thirsty, I will get my active effects will be down here because that's the layout of the HUD. To show you that, so that's immersive HUD. So to show you Fall UI HUD, we're going to take a look at that. That's this. Now here's what's neat about this particular mod is you have complete control over how you want your layout to look. And this is basically when all of the little indicators, this shows you where all the indicators will be if they were on, how the indicators move, and all of this can be configured within, I believe I'm not mistaken, a text file that Fall UI HUD uses. But here's the cool part. You literally have dozens. Like these are not all the presets that are available. These are just ones I thought might be interesting or that I might want to check out. And it will actually apply those, and I'm getting ready to show you. Now, hopefully, with some whatever weird little bug I got here, it's not going to crash when I reload. But we're gonna give this a shot. So let's go into Fall UI HUD, and you can see that the layout, and it has different settings for different things. Just I don't use all these. You can change a lot of things, and this is what makes it really, really nice. Oh, you can use colored icons, and really his series of mods, which I use them all, really do change the way the game looks and plays. It gives you categories, colored icons, just a lot of different things. And not everything in my game is in the proper category because it's not recognized by a script that he wrote that you can run through Xedit to create a like a sorter patch, which basically copies the base record of, let's say, an object, and then adds text information to that object that his thing can look at, or keywords that a script can look at that does certain things. I believe it's a DLL. I'm pretty sure it's a DLL. Okay, so let's look at the layout. So let's say, for example, I want to look at a Fall 76 HUD, which is here. I can select this, right? Notice where it says reload your game over the menu to see changes. Quick load won't always work. So I've already selected Fall 76. Now you notice it doesn't really show any difference, right? So we're going to save it, right? I'm going to quick save it. We're going to go in. We're going to load what I just saved. And fingers crossed we don't get the good old Mortal Kombat fatality. So now, when you look, you now have a completely different, I'm probably going to have to go reset the, let's go in, because I did change references. So let's go in to Immersive HUD, and we're going to turn this off. Okay. Now, you can see at the bottom here, there is a compass. So there's your compass now. So I don't know, over here it looks like ammo, grenades, ammo. So this is a layout for Fallout 76. It can have color options and all kinds of different things. Okay, so, and I usually cycle this when I change it. So we're gonna leave it off right now, and let's go select another one. Let's take a look. So we're gonna go, and these different layouts, I loaded them off the Nexus. You can even make your own. You can even write your own. So let's take a look at something that, here's Fallout 3. Let's take a look at this one. And there's even a Vegas one. Okay, so we've done this. We're gonna save it. And then we're gonna go back in and let's load what we just saved back up. And this should be a Fallout 3 HUD, or at least a layout for Fallout 3. It can use certain fonts, colors, locations, and things like that. So see, now take a look at the screen. See, now I have a Fallout 3 HUD. So you can see, and if you like that. And Vegas looks similar to this. And you can incorporate other mods like Condition Boy or Condition Girl.
Your thoughts?
I believe...
Hey, you did good.
I believe, I have no idea what I did. I believe You can also incorporate things like gas mask of the wasteland, right? So remember, I have immersive HUD turned off, and that is made by a separate mod author than FallUI HUD. But this show gets to show you that HUD. And let me see if I can find one specific thing. But this lets you easily flip between different HUD layouts. Let's take a look at extra fancy. Let's take a look at this one because that one looks really. It's got all kinds of like really different stuff. So, right, we're gonna save it because we have to save it because once the game
Hey there.
loads,
I
it
love
once the
you.
once the game loads, it loads all of the UI elements. So we've dynamically changed them, but it didn't reload them. So we're saving it, and we're actually going to load the game save back up, which will then load and link the UI elements, the graphics of and it basically kind of reloads, or I'm going to assume it rebuffers that Swift file. Okay, so now you can see the text is
Your
different.
thoughts?
See over there, it's kind
The
of
Commonwealth. Best place to get
and
later
since
shot.
since I don't have any
Not necessarily in that order.
since I don't have any
Unfortunately.
I'm not in combat or something, I don't really see any I was wanting to see some really cool graphic stuff, but yeah, apparently it has to have a certain condition to exist. So let's go back in here and let's take a look at one or two more. And like I say, you can look on there for FallUI. Let's see what this one does. What's that one look like? Oh, that one ought to be different. See, it's got different colored icons down here and percentages and all that. So let's take a look at this. Got to save it so that it's in the game save file. The data for what we selected as far as a HUD is in the game save. We're going to reload it, allow it to recalculate its assets, colors, things like that, and we should have that HUD. So it lets you very, very easily, while you're in a game, change the way your HUD looks. I picked a Stalker because it's, see, and that even looks like a really neat HUD, and different indicators are in different things. See, that really doesn't look that bad. You've got a nice little thing over here that looks like it's got, and because I'm using main and I have main speed installed, whenever I'm carrying a weapon or like if I'm sneaking, after a while it will start to use my AP, my action points, or like my stamina. So because it considers that I've got my weapon drawn, it takes more energy for me to walk around in this stealth position than it does if I'm not stealth. It's like, okay, he does. I mean, I'm not. My weapon isn't drawn. I can now relax a little bit more. It takes less energy. So that's one of the things you have to consider, like if you happen to be using that mod. But you see where it's got detected. See all that? See where it's got detected up there? It's right up in here. Um, so yeah, I mean, if I personally don't like to see if my character is detected, because usually when they go on alert, I can tell, because this is not normally something you would see when I'm playing a game. That's too much information. I like to more take in the whole scene, and kind of immerse myself a little bit better. I chose Stalker because it very creatively shows less information. Which is here. So you can see that everything is spread out. It's smaller, and therefore it doesn't take up much space on my screen. Even though I have an ultra wide, it doesn't really take up a lot of space, and therefore it's very inconspicuous. So to me, that's more immersive rather than having a big ammo count in my face. Because normally, if you have a weapon and you're in the process of using it, you either have to know how much ammo is in it and count, or you simply don't know. But like I say, so you can see how everything is constantly showing health and action points or stamina. So I use Immersive HUD, which allows me to only show certain things at certain times. So we'll turn it on, and hopefully it would have kept my settings, which it looks like it did. So I only want my compass on in combat, weapons drawn, and you can change these however you like. Like I say, active effects, if I'm hungry or thirsty, I want to see them. You can even have it so that your flashlight shows all the time. So now, if you notice, it went off, right? So I'm actually, even though I'm stealth, I mean, not even though, but see, I'm stealth, so it went off. and we're gonna go back. And oh, he's asking about the armor and stuff. You can see in the light, it's a little bit different. You can tell that it's combat armor, and that is a backpack of the Commonwealth, which actually gives me, if you look at it, it's going to be under armor right here. You can actually see that it increases my carry capacity by 100. It gives me 1 endurance. But what's interesting is that particular version gives me a damage resistance of 30. That is why you see me getting hit by ghouls and all kinds of stuff, getting smacked around, but it doesn't really, I don't really take any damage because it increases my DR. With better locational damage, I probably need to adjust that so that it better handles, like, it doesn't look at overall armor, it looks at what armor you have on that body part, so it's locational. So if I've got, let's say, a metal chest piece, that can take more damage than, let's say, leather or no chest piece. And since it's your core area, it would be more fatal. Even headshots would be fatal if you don't have a helmet. I've got a military cap, which is cloth, but I put a weave in it, and I set it so that MAME thinks it's a helmet. So MAME has a way of setting it so you can say, yep, this hat's a helmet, even though it's not really a helmet. And that lets you kind of make your character the way you like it. The only problem is the hair does clip through the hat. And I think that's just the way that the hair is a series of objects that are layered together, and it just doesn't know to clip. It cannot clip part of a complete object.
Hey,
So like you
let's
got,
find a bed and...
so if you got 4 sheets of notebook paper, and unfortunately the hat, the one, if you bend that paper, part of that sheet of paper can be showing through the hat, but the rest of it isn't. And unfortunately, you can't break that sheet of paper in half to only not show a piece of it. That's why you have, or to obscure that one part of the hair. That's why you have this kind of clipping issue. And that does increase code size and all that. But that is because see, from here, I don't really see that compass unless I need to see it. And the only time I use that compass is if, for some reason, I'm looking for a quest objective, or I'm looking for a general area, like, okay, there's something over here, I don't know what this is, I'm not sure what that empty HUD is, so we can try and see what that might be. We'll do that real quick, and then let's go up here. Let's see if we can jump up all this mess. Up we go. Alright, let's see how close we are. Alright, it's probably like a ranger cabin or something. Let me save this just for some strange reason, like I get a crash. It's just to be safe. And I tell you, I've gotten in a habit of saving a Bethesda game so often, I don't even remember doing it. And that's one of the reasons I had to set up some programming options to not allow 40 billion game saves to exist on my hard drive, because it's just too much. I believe that's a ranger cabin or something, because that's got to be what this is. But you can actually see there's different, you'll see different mods involved. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna zoom this up.
Uh-oh. This can't be good.
That made me...
I think we're done for now.
Alright, so, yeah, there's the cabin over there. And, like, I do have a mod that puts Minutemen watchtowers and stuff in here. And they're kind of neat when you come across them. I wanted to use the mod responders, which is supposed to be like where the mod author, I don't know about the crashes. I don't know if they're related to conflicts or non-conflicts or list issues. I haven't really taken a look at it. Is this Gorski? Yeah, no, this is the yeah, so that's what I'm just going to show you. Now, I also have a mod that when you discover something, if you are in combat, it will not show you your XP. Oh, she got it. It will not show you your XP.
New location.
Did you see that nice
or
ass
show
on
you
that one
whether
earlier?
you've discovered something until combat ends.
Would you like a threesome with her?
And I have to look up the mod for you, but my Pip-Boy, I changed the or not the Pip-Boy, but like the game sounds.
Yes.
I've changed that
Sweet.
to a
Let's do
more
this.
kind of a female voice.
Hell yeah.
So if you're interested in that, let me know and I'll look that mod up for you. It's actually pretty cool. Because it's kind of like a computer, so it's really neat. It's just what each person kind of likes in their game. But yeah, that's how the HUD works, and you can see like I'm still stealth. I had it set so that this particular map doesn't show up unless I'm in combat. But since I need to be able to see sometimes which way I'm facing, because I have no idea, you can get lost out here in all these trees. I need to be able to look up there and say, oh, it's west. I got to go head this way because I'm going towards that direction. But yeah, that's pretty much the two mods. It's immersive HUDs and it's FallUI HUD. And then you
I
just
read this
select
book
whatever
once
preset you
in
want,
that memory
and you,
archive
like I said, you can select them in the game.
about
You
a
can
ranger
change
that
them
lived with his dogs.
dynamically when you're playing. You
And
just
the
have to reload your
bad men
game
came
save, and
and
that's
killed
pretty
his
much
dogs.
that. So give it a
And
shot. Let me know what you think. I believe Immersive HUDs is by Gopher, and Fall UI is by Mater. I've used some of his stuff before. He has Mater Smash, and he's definitely a programmer by nature. So you know a lot of the stuff he does makes sense, and it does work. And it's really cool. I think that's who did it, but don't quote me on it because I don't want to give the wrong mod author credit for something they did not do.
I think we're done for now.
And the reason that she talks, that's player comments. It's a thing that you can do like with player comments. And kind of makes it a little more interesting because, you know, you kind of make random comments. Some of them are funny. Some of them are kind of funny when they start griping when things don't go right. Yeah, that's pretty much that. I'm gonna loot these real quick and then hop back out of the game. And oh, this is a good indicator down here. See where I have water. See, it's telling me I need water. And MAME actually, which is pretty cool, MAME actually will reduce my stamina when I'm thirsty. Now, if I'm hungry, it'll add even more. If I haven't had sleep, it adds even more until literally I have almost no stamina and I can't even go into VATS. I can still shoot manually. I won't have any extra sway on my weapon or anything like that, but I will not be able to go into VATS. And if you get really, really tired, you cannot run, you cannot sprint. You literally are walking at a crawl. It's a snail's pace, which should make sense because you're exhausted. So at the wrong time, if you handicap yourself, it would definitely be a challenge. However, once you get up about level 20, 25, and you get good armor, things like that, especially with better locational damage, and also have damage threshold. It's supposed to put DT in at an engine level. So no matter what your armor you're wearing or anything like that, it has a certain DT value. Because you had damage threshold and you had damage resistance. And all of those was in a calculation in Vegas and in some of the other Fallout games, which determines how much damage you take. So with that extra calculation, those extra variables, that's why you see me sometimes when I have a video, I'm getting smacked around by a bunch of ghouls. I'm not taking any damage because smacking around on combat armor with your hand doesn't do anything. But to show you what I'm talking about, where there's a bug that I'm not sure what's causing it, when I'm thirsty, I'm going to get something to drink. Okay, so naturally I would go in here. I could drink out of this water over here if I wanted that, but I'm going to drink Brahmin milk. You can actually milk Brahmins in Advanced Need 76, and that way it kills your radiation effect. But notice how this icon, well, actually it disappeared. Normally that does not disappear. The actual water icon, it'll stay there until I actually do refresh by going into this external menu and refreshing my screen. But anyways, that should get that. Hopefully that'll get you started. Just let me know if you have any more questions, and I will definitely see what I can do to help you out.